Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. Today I'm going to be modifying this. It is a PSS 480, which is a toy keyboard from the 80s, and it might be early 90s. I think it's 80s though. This is an FM synthesizer. It features a 2-operator FM synthesizer, and it shows here how the whole layout goes. And anyway, there's ways you can modulate with these buttons here, where it's a digital synthesizer. You can modulate the attack rate, the decay rate. You can modulate the frequency of the FM modulation, one operator into another. You can adjust the modulation level and the feedback level of the modulation as well. So anyway, it's a pretty powerful little synth. It also features, you can transpose notes up and down, and you can, let's see, it has a sustain and a reverb, and it has a portamento, so you can adjust the portamento as well. It doesn't have the pitch wheel like the PSS 680, but anyway, it's a pretty powerful little synth. Now, the problem with this, it has a nice sustain, nice reverb. Has the portamento like I just mentioned, but it doesn't really have any effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Behringer FX600, and I'm going to take the speaker out of here. I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to put the guts of this into this enclosure here, so you'll be able to play it with your left hand and make all of the modulations here, and then go back to playing with your right hand, or even adjust the modulations with your left while you're playing with the right, and this and that. So yeah, that's how this is going to work. Now, the PSS 480, why I'm choosing to do this one out of my collection is because it does have MIDI, and it's pretty advanced MIDI as far as you can't, I don't know about SysX and all that, probably not. There are probably some exclusive numbers in this and that, but they're not featured. You'd have to dig to find out how that all works, like as far as the drums and everything. Oh, this has a little custom drummer too. I'm thinking about putting a distortion pedal in here and wiring just the drums to it, or maybe even putting a looper here, like a little TC electronic looper, so you can make full tracks with this or whatever, and keep the MIDI. It would be pretty sweet. Anyway, yeah, so I will get started with this. The first thing that needs to be done is I need to take the case apart, so I'm going to take all these screws out, and I don't know if I'm going to get to that right this second, but when I come back, I will show you what that looks like. Okay, so I got this baby open, and it looks like on the left side, it's the right for us right now, but when it's flipped over, it's the left. There's this little extra board here. It's not a lot of extra room to, even with the speaker taken out, it's still going to be pretty tight to put that, the inside of the pedal in there. I might be able to get it in there. I might have to relocate this thing. I might even have to put the pedal on this side. But anyway, put the lid off. By the way, where the screws are here, I just lay them out on a towel there, and it helps me keep track of everything. It would be better if it was sticky on some level. Okay, so right here, this is connected only by the lead that goes to the battery case, and this is going to be implemental in powering the pedal anyway, so I don't really need these wires, and the best way to deal with them is to cut them. So do that, and the whole lid comes off. Okay, I have the pedal undone, and there's the face here. I have a couple of options. I can use a Dremel and cut all this whole part off here, because this gives a nice surface to push the pedal up against the speaker enclosure. what I'm going to do is on the speaker enclosure, once I take the speaker out, which it's not necessarily going to be this side, but when I take the speaker out, on the other side, I'm going to have a small plastic plate with the holes drilled for the knobs, and it's going to go right on top of the keyboard and screw in on all four corners. In fact, to screw it in, I'm going to use the screws from the speakers. That's how I do it. I flip it over on the other side, drill all the way through. You'll see. Anyway, having this plate here gives a nice surface to screw the pedal onto the plate that goes on the top here. But from the back in here, I'm going to have stuff screwed here and here that kind of straps it apart across. I'm going to take the whole board out of this, so this plastic part here is not going to be there. As far as the pedal is a stereo pedal. It has two mono inputs on the left side here, and it has two mono outputs on the right side here, 1/4 inch. So what I generally do is I'll be taking these short guitar cables there for a pedal board. I'm going to cut them in half and strip the wires down. I buy these in bulk just specifically for these mods. And then I'm just going to take the feed from each speaker and wire them in. Now the feed that goes to this speaker is very, very short, so putting it over here even starting to make more and more sense. I mean, I really want it on this side so I can mess with it with my left hand while playing with my right. Regardless, not quite sure how I'm going to go about it yet. I mean, I've done a lot of these mods, but each one is a little different, and I haven't done a 480 before. It looks like there's very little real estate in here. It's not just because of this extra piece here, but also because the back of this is beveled and everything, and it kind of just doesn't have a lot of room inside there. It's kind of like doing a PSS 680, which when I did the 680, I had to cut a little piece in the back of it to make the thing fit. But it was my first mod. I think if I did it again, that I could do it differently. These are the outputs that are going to go on the back. They're just 1/4 inch outputs from Radio Shack. Anyway, okay, I got this speaker off, right? And I moved this thing to get it off. It's the on and off switch and the volume over here. That's dark in here, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm going to get some light, and I'll be right back. Okay, another light. Sweet. Okay, so much better. Anyway, this is the on-off switch and the volume slider. That is what this was. Anyway, good news is that even after taking this out, stripping this down, I mean that's pretty thin. It's going to sit inside here, and even so, there's still going to be, I'm pretty sure there's going to be enough room for it. The only thing is maybe if these guys here are a little bit too long. I don't know. I think it's going to be okay, especially if I cut a little piece of this out so that this can sit right down inside there a little further. But we'll see. What I'm going to do is take a Dremel and cut this out. Okay, so I brought it upstairs out of the workroom, and I can show you that it sits nicely, that the whole mechanism sits nicely, and when it's sitting in there, I still might have to Dremel just a bit more in this area down here, right here, to make it fit in there, but I don't think so. Actually, it seems to fit nicely, and this piece fits right in there. They don't even touch. If they did, that would be bad news, but yeah, I might have to drill it down just a little. But the next thing I got to do is make a faceplate for here. It's basically going to take up the entire area, corner to corner of the speaker enclosure, and I'm just going to drill through these and put the screws in the other side on top of the plate. Okay, so here it is sitting inside there. This is a good time to mention, notice I used the same color on both sides, on each side, because this is the input of audio, goes through the pedal. This is the output of audio, and this is going to go to the external outputs that I install in the chassis, like right here. These inputs are going to hook to these speaker wires, right? And this is why I use the right angle little pedal board cables, the right angle ones and not the straight ones, because the straight ones, as you can see, would just extend outside of the chassis and it just wouldn't work. So as you can see, this is sitting down here nicely. Inside here, I still haven't cut this down yet, so I'm going to. I might even cut a little bit down here to make sure that there's enough clearance for these cables here. But yeah, I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, here I made sure that the case fits on there. Inside, I had to make a lot of cuts to the plastic chassis and everything. This is not put together, it's just thrown together so that you can see that it's going to be good and it's going to fit. So a plastic plate is going to go from corner to corner right here, and then the knobs are going to go on top. Little hole drilled for the light, little blue LED light that's on the pedal, and it's going to look sweet. Anyway, it all fits. You know, when I pull this up, you'll see that, here, I can use one hand. I had to cut a lot out over here to make these fit. See, that thing is very narrow there. I had to push it in quite a bit. And the other cables are not hooked in yet. They will be, but until they're wired in, the thing was like they were sticking like right up in the air, and it was stopping me from putting the chassis, the back of the chassis on. So you can see how it all fits. I had to make quite a bit of cuts and adjustments here. You can see where I tore a bunch of stuff out, and but it all fits, and this sits flat. Everything is gonna fit in there perfectly. All right, I bought one of these Rubbermaid trash cans at the Home Depot. And this is the plate that is going to go over there. You can see the lines. Thing is, I'm going to paint this, but I find that this material, and I've looked and looked and looked for craft materials and stuff. This is the right amount of like stiff. It's hard, but it's soft. You can sand it. You can paint it with. Make sure you use plastic spray paint, like the Fusion or whatever, Krylon Fusion. You can cut it with a jigsaw and it doesn't chip up. It's not brittle like Lexan. I've tried to use that kind of stuff too. But anyway, yeah, this is what I've done. Okay, now I got the plate over the top here. This is where the holes are going to get drilled for the pedal to come through. Now, when I had the pedal in there, I took a red permanent marker and I marked, can you see these marks? I marked where the light was and where the side, the two farthest holes were on that side, and also on this side, the holes and the light. That way I can line it up. And what I did is I took the plate from the guitar pedal itself. I'm going to put that on there. I'm not going to leave it on there. I'm just putting it on there, and I'm going to line it up both ways. Probably put a little dab of super glue on here just to hold it in place for a second and get the holes started, or at least mark where the holes are going to be before I drill them. Okay, even though this is all ready to go, holes are drilled, everything's ready to go in there. Even though there's really nothing down here that's really touching, that's really that important, I put a couple of layers of Scotch electrical tape. I'm not a branding whore, but I am just saying I put Scotch on here. I like Scotch. I think it's the finest of the electrical tapes. I think it'll stick for a long time and provide the best protection. But then I have decided not to paint it because, well, I think the gray match is pretty good, and it's got two different colors of screws. Yeah, big deal. Now for the wiring. Okay, I have all the stuff wired in here from the speakers. This goes to the battery compartment and is probably just going to get disconnected and not used at all. From the speakers, where they would go to the speakers goes to the input on this side here, and then the output goes to the 1/4" jacks, which are going to be installed here. And that's not the most convenient place in the world for them. It's not the nicest looking, but it actually is the most convenient. It's the safest. It's raised right around this area and well above any of the components. So when I put those 1/4" jacks in, it's going to be certain not to touch any other. It's going to be certain not to touch any other components. Next, I'm going to wire the power in. I'm going to wire power through the battery, or where you put the battery in the guitar pedal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder from here, which is the positive. I'm going to solder to, let's see, where did I put that thing? Yes, I'm going to solder a wire straight from the positive input of the power supply to the, to the black on this, so that I can hook these together and they will snap together like a 9-volt battery. I don't have to hook up a negative lead. The negative in the circuit is completed through the audio, actually. So also, I'm going to put a strip of plastic across the back there to just kind of hold it into place. And then I'm going to screw in here and screw in there. I'll show you in a second when that's done. Okay, power is wired up. I put a little tape here so you can see. I soldered it right to the switch, actually. And like I said, only the positive lead. It looks like it's the negative lead because it's black, but it's not actually, because when you use this, it switches them up. But just the positive lead. I already tested it to see if the power comes on, and it does. Now to do a sound check. You won't be able to hear it, but I'm just going to use a headphone in each one of these, and I should hear it mono. These are soldered in. I'll probably put some. They're twisted and soldered. I'll probably wrap them in tape too, just to be safe. But I'm going to test this out. You won't be able to hear it, but I'll let you know if it works. If it doesn't, because it's a headphone, I might not be able to hear it. I'll test it on something better. But if it does, then at least I know, and I don't have to move it or anything. Okay, I couldn't get any sound. I could get sound through it here, through the headphone out, but I couldn't get any sound through my new outputs. And I'm not really sure what the deal is, so I'm going to go try to figure this out. Okay, I got it working. I brought it out here to my system, threw it in there, and it wasn't working still. And then I realized that I had the in and out reversed. How silly of me. But now it works beautifully, so I'm going to put it all together and sound check it for you. Oh, I still have to strap this guy in there. I had to take the knobs off and everything to get it out and switch them up. But anyway, I'll show you in a few minutes. And here it is, finished. Actually, while I'm here, these two were switched up. So just switch them around a little bit. One, two. Sounds wicked with the FM engine. I'll turn it to echo. Watch this. Anyway, I'm going to do a video with a sound demo, and then I'm going to throw this thing up on eBay. PSS 480, I'm even going to do a demo of the MIDI functions and sequence it with Ableton Live and whatnot. But the interesting thing is that the PSS 480 goes for about $100, and the Behringer piece goes for about $40 shipped. So I'm going to start the bidding at $200, and I think that that's more than fair. It took me about 4 hours to complete. So anyway, check for the demo. It's going to be sweet. Thanks for watching.